So, let's talk about number fonts, shall we? Stephen here, and in case you weren't aware, there has been a lot of BuzzFeed, as it were, regarding Dale Earnhardt Jr., Teresa Earnhardt, and the number 8 font of DEI. Apparently, Teresa has decided to not renew the trademark of said font of the 8, and Dale Jr. looks like he's going to purchase the rights to the font of the 8. Now, some of you might be asking, wait a second, doesn't the 8 already race in the Cup Series? Yes, it does. For the record, it's Kyle Busch for Richard Lewis Racing. But you noticed that the font of the 8 is different compared to the DEI 8. And the same thing is true with the number 1 team that's currently raced by Trackhouse. You notice that its font is different compared to the DEI 1. And the same thing is true back in the day when DEI first used those numbers. The fonts were different compared to the previous owners. For example, with the 15 before DEI, that was Bud Moore's number. They had to change that number once Bud Moore's team decided to close up shop and the number 15 became available. Eventually, Michael Waltrip purchased the rights for the font of his number from the DEI days, but before that, he had to change the font of his 15 for his team towards the end of that run, and so forth. Hopefully, though, you do see the point of what I'm trying to say here. NASCAR owns the rights to the numbers, but how the teams use those numbers, like fonts and whatnot, that is owned by the teams themselves. Meaning that eventually, when the number 3 car leaves Childress for good, it too will have to have a different font compared to the Childress one. Same thing with the 43 when it leaves Legacy. And then if the team decides to use that number, its font will have to change as well, etc. Hopefully, you get my point in all of this, because when it comes to fonts in NASCAR, it's that the teams own the trademarks to the fonts, but not the number, while NASCAR owns the numbers themselves. Now, a team can ask NASCAR, "Hey, is this number available to use?" and can give them and can show them a version of the number they want to use. If NASCAR says, "Sure, you want it, you can have it," and you can trade, and the team can trademark the font of that number. Which is why, for example, the number 7 team has had different fonts throughout the years. For basically the same reason. It was because the teams had that number for a long time as well. And another reason why I want to make this video is to point out that this is the final NASCAR race weekend for Fox this year. And in Saturday's case, their final Xfinity Series race overall. And listen until they decide to come back after the CW contract ends. Whether or not they will is up to them. But I will say this: despite issues with the camera angles and whatnot, Fox has done a good job with the CW. Has done a good job with the Xfinity Series this year, particularly Adam Alexander and Joey Logano, along with Brad Keselowski. When those three are in the booth calling the races, arguably those are the 3 best commentators we have currently in all of NASCAR. And when Brad and Joey does retire, it wouldn't surprise me to see them in a broadcast booth at some point. Now, Joey has a lot to learn about being a lead analyst, but for his first outing, it wasn't bad. McMurray's a good analyst. And I'd like to see him be a regular analyst in NASCAR at some point down the road as well. Now, just a reminder going forward, outside of Chicago, which will be on NBC, CW and USA will have the Xfinity series for the remainder of the year. In USA's case, it's from Iowa to Bristol, minus Chicago, which, like I just said, is NBC. Then from Bristol onward, even though the NBC broadcast team will still be there, it will be shown on the CW. For 2025 and beyond, we don't know who or what NASCAR is going to do with the CW when it comes to the broadcasting side of things. We'll just have to wait and see. And right now, we still don't know who else will be joining Dale Jr. with Amazon and TNT. Let alone the other races as part of the Amazon and TNT packages, just that Charlotte will kick off the Amazon package while Atlanta will kick off the TNT package, along with the $1 million tournament that will be played during the TNT races. And I gotta say, that is an interesting concept. Hopefully it will work and will keep viewers intact during the TNT portion of the schedule. Plus the remaining 3 races with Amazon, just to see who qualifies for the darn thing. Now, what was that? Now, was there anything else I want to talk about? Oh yeah, Kyle Larson's waiver. I'm supposed to get this out of the way now. I get why NASCAR ultimately caved in and gave Larson a waiver, but even though he did make an attempt to show up at Charlotte afterwards, and probably would have won if it wasn't for the rain, I don't think he would still have gotten a waiver, only because NASCAR needs to set a fine line on what qualifies as a waiver and what doesn't qualify as a waiver outside of legal issues. Now, granted, Larson made an attempt to race to Charlotte. I'll give you that. As probably the only reason why he got the waiver in the first place was because he made the attempt to try to race at Charlotte after he got done with Indy. But ask yourself this question. Suppose that Larson chose not to race at Charlotte at all. Just focus 100% on Indy and then not go to Charlotte. Would he got another waiver in that case? Or if this is just another driver for another team. Not that saying that Hendrick or Larson had anything to do with influencing the NASCAR's decision, mind you, but it does raise the question just the same. Ultimately, though, because of the media and fans, NASCAR had no choice but to give Larson a waiver. But what I like to do with them going forward is this. If they insist on using waivers, then set some rules on how waivers are allowed, so that way, hopefully, the same situation with Larson doesn't happen again. Whether or not the driver is ill, injured, yes, they can have a waiver. If a driver is suspended, no waiver. If the driver has legal issues, no waiver. If the driver chooses to miss the NASCAR race entirely, no waiver. And that's all I'm asking with regards to these waivers going down in the future. If NASCAR wants to go in that direction, then they need to set a fine line on when it's okay to give a waiver and when it's okay not to give a waiver. So that way we won't keep asking ourselves, is this driver going to get a waiver or not? The only exception of missing a race I will get the NASCAR waivers for is what happened with Larson. He at least tried to make it back to the track after he got done with his other activity. That might be the only exception. But otherwise, miss a NASCAR race on your own free will, and don't make an attempt to race, no waiver. Anyway, that's all my thoughts and matters. Let me know in the comments about what I had to say. Whether you agree with me or not on Larson, Fox and Xfinity, the font system, or whatever. Anyway, I want to thank you all for watching this video. if you made it this far, of course. I do also want to say thanks again for 61 subscribers. And I'll do my best to make more original content like this and more public domain material as well. I do appreciate every single one of you. I may not say it often, but don't forget to subscribe, like this video, hit the notification bell, so forth. Hopefully soon, I'll be able to afford to get more equipment besides my cell phone, because making videos and whatnot. So again, be patient with me, and I understand that I don't talk good. And I'm sorry that I don't, but at the same time, what you're getting into when you watch this video in the first place. Don't I ask? It's some constructive criticism. Not just, oh, this person can't talk. Just say, okay, can you make some suggestions on how can I improve my speech? So that way the video will be more likable to you. You know, like that. But regardless, sorry for a little rant at the end. That's not like normally what I do. But I did want to get this off my chest just as well. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching this video. Again, like and comment. And hopefully I'll see all of you next time. Take care, folks. And bye.